of Israel. The cry of Israel. And you know, our enemies, our adversaries, and those that's in total opposition to those of us that have made a commitment in this walk. One thing they don't want you to do, one thing, and that is to cry to the Father. Don't want you to cry out. Don't want you to cry out to the right source. They don't mind you crying to the source that they gave us. They don't mind you crying out to Buddha. When you look at Tina Turner and the movie, What's Love Got to Do with It? One thing that they wanted to portray into the hearts of the Hebrew Israelites, and that was to demonize that Negro, and then at the same time praise Buddha. And they knew if they put that in the movie, it would go into the psyche of individuals. And today, more people have turned to Buddha than ever before. Why? Because they don't want you to cry to the right source.
Hallelujah.
For many years, they whipped and chastised the name of Jesus Christos, which we call Jesus Christ. They whip that into us because they don't want us to cry to the right source. Islam. Many people came in the inception of this country. They got off ships and they were crying to the deity of Islam. They don't want you to cry to the right source. Why? Because they know that there would be certain activities, and not only activities, there will be results if you cry to the right source. There were results when we cried to Jesus Christ. There was results when we cried to Tina Turner. She got Ike off her back, didn't she? And they showed you she doing that little chant, ringing the bell, doing that chant, and they showed you how she gained strength. But if you want to be totally victorious, the Father only reserved that position of crying out to Him and Him alone. This is why He said, I am Yah and there is no other.
Hallelujah.
So if and it just ain't in your cry. Crying is from within. Can I talk to y'all for a minute?
Hallelujah.
Crying is from within. Whenever the Father created, whatever He created, everything that communicates, it communicates from within. It don't communicate from the basis of His teeth and tongue and lips. We received the bastardized language. We received the language that communicates strictly from the tongue. And the tongue is a deadly weapon. Y'all remember the serpentine fire that I put on, and I talked about how the tongue, it had fire. The tongue is a fire.
Yes.
And so when we were given language that can speak truths and half-truths at the same time. This is why when somebody say you're bad, you have to be in a certain culture to know what that word means. If you come from way back in 1800, if somebody say you bad, they were, what you talking about? I'm bad. I'm not bad. But if you come straight from the 70s, you bad. Yeah, I know I am. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
It gets different connotations through the tongue. But everything, notice this, everything that the Father created, He created to groan. You know, the scripture talking about groanings that cannot be uttered because it's within. So along with that cry, y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
Along with the cry, you have to understand that it's got to be something that's internal. When you look at a lion, and you hear them, how many of you went to the St. Louis Zoo and ever heard a lion roar? Some of y'all never heard it. I had the privilege, me and Pam had the privilege to hear that lion roar, and it was in a cave. And we, what in the world is that? And it wasn't roaring real loud. It was just, it sounded like it was yawning or something. And it was loud because it comes from within. When you hear an elephant, it ain't doing it from the basis of its mouth and tongue. It's coming from inner. Even when you hear anything that expresses itself, is coming from the inner. That means that inner, when it comes from the inner most person of that or the innermost being of that person, rather, that gives you the connotation that things that is coming from within, everything else should be in alignment with the Father. If you call on the Father, then your inner parts, your inner thoughts, your inhibitions should always be fighting to be in alignment with the Father. I'm talking to y'all right now, and y'all ain't even listening. Some of y'all right now still thinking about your own thing. And I'm giving y'all privileged information that you need to understand.
Yes.
The Father, we just read, Daniel, he walked out, but he read the weapons of our warfare. The weapons. And what do we use a weapon for? Read that again, 2 Corinthians 10. Everybody turn to 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. Let's read it again so we can get the crux of it. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. Go ahead and read, Donnell.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
They say the weapons of our warfare. And they talk about a weapon, you're talking about a defense mechanism. You see what I'm saying? You're talking about when you got a weapon, you're trying to gain access. You're trying to gain advantage. And Paul, see, you have to look at these scriptures and see what's being conveyed here. The weapon. When you got a weapon, one time I went out in the yard, and this German Shepherd, when I was living on Night Drive, every time I went out on the backyard, this German Shepherd was mean. And they called her. And one time I went out there and I had a shovel. And I went out there, and I know the neighbors thought I was crazy. But I went out there, and the dog was, I did like this. Then he started looking under. Then I picked up the shovel and I hit this branch. He started coming down. Then he really started looking sideways. Under-eyed sideways. Would you look up here? Why you? You know dogs do that, don't you? You be talking to other nigga.
Something else talking.
They ain't looking.
What's wrong?
And the dog went. Let me know I ain't no punk, but I ain't fooling with you. You crazy. He barked and went toward the house. Didn't look at him. The next door neighbor, this was a dog across the yard. The next door neighbor, he would come out. Every time I come out, he was looking. I got tired of him. He was in my yard. And it was this big wooden fence. Now, don't y'all kids try this. It was a wooden fence. And I ain't trying to hit the dog. I just wanted him to hear the rock hit the fence. And he looked. I didn't hit the dog. I promise you, I didn't. I just hit the fence. It kind of corresponded one time with Tay said she was keeping kids, and instead of hitting the kids, she said she would take a newspaper and hit the table. And then stop. That's what I did. I hit the wooden fence. He stopped coming in the yard. He stopped barking all mean. It got to the point when I walked out on the patio, he would be looking. When it was Pam, he'd be doing stuff. But when he hear that door, when it was Pam, he'd go ahead and do it. Every time. And when one time the door squeaked, he looked, and it was me that walked out, he walked out. Every time. Am I lying, Pam? One time, I'm giving y'all examples. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. One time it was a wasp. And Dina said, you holler at a wasp? Yes. I didn't understand it. I got scriptures to back it now, baby. I didn't understand it then. I just knew it was something within me. First it was a bird. We was covering up bird. Just a little hole in our house. Bird went up in there and did, build a nest. Getting up in there, and so we closed it up. And the bird got mad, she got mad, she was swooping down. flying by me. I got tired of that. Do you remember that young boy that was riding a bike and he just swooped down behind him, mad at anybody that came in the vicinity? And then, when it kept flying by, I made a loud squall. I saw it across the street somewhere in the tree, just looking. I'm not lying to y'all. With this pit bull in this yard that me and Pam go run in. And he was barking at everybody. And then I walked. And just like Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, I just walked it a certain way. And let him feel that inner energy of the Father. And he sensed it, and he stopped barking. You know, the pit bulls got silly bark. And he just looking. There's something that the Father put in us. Right. That they do not want you to activate. Hallelujah. And so you got us calling and doing some of everything and get everything within us in alignment to that opposition of the Father, and we don't get results. So y'all listening to me.
Hallelujah.
That bird went across, we got rid of the bird. Then here come a wasp, because I was trying to finish nailing the stuff, on the house, the suffix and the fuchsia, whatever you call that thing. I can't remember how you pronounce it. And here the wasp driving, flying around. And I said down here, now we got a wasp. Trying to intimidate. And he was flying around. I picked up a rock. And while he was flying, and he come falling down. Direct hit. Yep. Am I lying?
Nope, not lying. Dead on.
Those was lessons the Father taught me. Now, will I go to a wasp nest or a hornet's nest and hit it? Perfect day. No. Now the Father, you stupid idiot. You did something foolish? Right. You're going to have to get punished foolishly. Go ahead, hornets, have at it. But when I had a purpose, and I'm trying to let you know when you on purpose, there's something that you've been given, a weapon. You have something that the Father get, but it ain't carnal. But y'all looking at culture for carnal things. You see what I'm saying? To be victorious. The Father say this weapon, Paul say this weapon, I build F-18s. We first did the CNDs, now we on the F-8, then we started building the F-18 E&F models. These are some advanced tactical airplanes. They fly so fast. They are ahead of the sound. Wow. You hear what I'm saying? By the time you hear the sound, they had already passed. That's how fast they go. So they come in, drop bombs, and go.
Wow.
And so, the Father, haven't you ever noticed why we don't have a military? Why, I'm talking about Israelites. We don't have a military. We don't have F-18s. We don't have F-15s. We don't have Joint Strike Fighters. We don't have none of those. We don't even have the Voodoo. That's an old plane that you saw in World War II. We don't have nothing. We don't have tanks. All we got is some of the cats in the hood got AR-15s and they got AK-47s. That's all, but an AK-47 can't do nothing with some of the artillery that the government has. Don't you know the government has a big tank with a big dish on it? And this dish will send out microwaves and burn the people up. You know what the microwave does? It captures the moisture in your skin, and boils it, and you get hot, and it'll burn you up. We don't have artillery like that. Why? Because Paul said, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Hallelujah.
They're not what you call tangible. You can't put your hand on it. Are y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
They're not carnal, but what?
But mighty through Yah to pulling down of strongholds.
Everybody mighty through who? I want y'all to get this.
Yah.
Y'all ain't saying nothing. Y'all tired of saying it, aren't you?
No.
Mighty through who?
Yah.
Y'all got to remind yourself.
Hallelujah.
Paul said be strong in the power of whose might?
His might.
His might. Yah's might. Yahweh's might. They are not carnal, but they mighty through him.
Yes.
To do what?
To pull the pulling down of strongholds.
Do y'all know what a stronghold is? What is a stronghold?
Anything you dealing with?
A stronghold is a tower. Have you ever seen any of these movies where the enemy trying to seize a city? And then they get up on a certain area and they throwing tar down, hot tar, and throwing rocks down. That's a stronghold. You see what I'm saying? Satan builds strongholds in your mind. And if you ain't careful, he have his emissaries in there fighting off anything that comes. Anything that's of the father, you know what they start doing? They take tar and pour it down on them. In your mind. Any breakthrough, they shooting arrows. How many of y'all seen the movie 300?
Hallelujah.
That last battle, what happened?
They lost.
Everybody died.
What?
They lost.
Everybody.
How many arrows were they?
Too many.
Dark in the sky, here they come. That's us with this truth.
Hallelujah.
Arrows coming. And here you are. But you know what? The Father has given you something that can withstand those arrows in the spiritual realm.
Hallelujah.
And that's your cry.
Yes.
I gave you an example.
Yes.
When I saw that German Shepherd, I'm not going to do it here. I don't want to get hoarse. Y'all know I give examples, but I'm not going to do it. Pam's blinking her eyes all slow. I'm not going to do it because Pam like to be all highfalutin. Hit that leg across. And that's why I married her. When I saw her, she was hitting her legs crossed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She doing exactly what she was doing then. She liked that little sophistication, and I like the countriness. With a little bit with a twist of smoothness. There's a twist. But what I'm trying to get y'all to see, that cry must come from within, and within it should be in alignment with the Father. That's what he hears.
Right.
When you cry out to the Father and you've been living like the Father, according to his statutes, according to his commandments, and holding on to our brother Yahshua. What happened to Yahshua when he finally gave up the ghost? He first said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is, Yahweh, Yahweh, why hast thou forsaken me? If you want to say English, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And then the text reads that he made a loud squall and gave up the ghost. So he, when it's in alignment with the Father sitting on his throne. Who is that?
Hallelujah.
It's a weapon.
Yes, yes.
Are y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
The cry of Israel.
Yes, yes.
Father put something in us.
Yes.
If we learn how to cry to the Father, don't believe me, we're going to go into scripture. And we're going to read a little bit. Y'all ready to read? What time is it?
2:22.
I get 2:23 already. We started late, didn't we?
A little bit.
My goodness. What's the 2:23 coming around for so early? I'm just getting started, y'all. But I want y'all to understand something. When you learn how, see, many of y'all are too smooth to cry to the Father. Y'all too cute. Y'all too sedity. Y'all remember on the Boomerang? That's your son. Private school got him sedity like that. Y'all done been in this culture and learned the King's English. And the King's English have no depthness. I know what I'm talking about.
Hallelujah.
They teach you that when you're in school. Say your words and say them proper. That's why a lot of times I don't speak proper. Because I got to get something from within. And it irritates people. I hear people talk about, they be saying, hallelujah, man. And sometimes Shirley, she don't do this whenever the Father, so she ain't got to do it whenever the Father tell you to do it. But sometimes she, hallelujah, people. She's coming from within. It appears the cry of the Father. We live in a society now where they tell you to be quiet. What happened to the man that was on the wayside that was blind? He said, Yahshua. They said, be quiet. The Son of David, have mercy on me. He cried.
Hallelujah.
When you cry to the Father, he hears.
Yes, yes.
They don't like me because I'm high. See, do I sound real loud in here?
No.
But that thing there, when it come through there, I put it on there, it's loud. It's a good microphone on that camera. People get mad. He too loud. Click off a click. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
You got to learn how to cry to the Father. And guess what? The Father is going to make situations in your life so unpleasant that you have no choice but to cry to him or cry to some deity. It's going to happen.
Hallelujah.
Are you listening to me?
Hallelujah, sir.
Hallelujah.
Oh my goodness. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they mighty through Yahweh for the pulling down.
Stronghold.
When you cry, guess what? What happened during the walls of Jericho?
They kept going around.
We're not going to go to it. We got a lot of scriptures. The walls of Jericho, they walked around the wall
Till it crumbled.
7 times. 1. And they instruction was, don't say nothing. 2. While they was walking around, they saw there's a crack in the wall there. 3. Come back around. Oh, I see a way where we can go up the other way. 4. Come back around. Man, this wall ain't nothing. Because now they trampling the dirt. 5. Am I 5?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Now, somehow, some way, they got courage. They really start walking. Think about the people inside the city of Jericho. What is that noise? They ain't playing now. Which this is 6 or 7?
7.
6.
That's
That's
7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. They walked around it 7 times. And all of them ready. See, the Father was conditioning them. They were ready. And Joshua said, he said, I want y'all to shout. And then they begin to, see, I look silly, don't I? How many of y'all seen Braveheart?
Hallelujah.
Mel Gibson, they was, then they shout arrows at him, and they put the shield up. Then they came back and turned their behinds to him and started mooning him. The enemy. Was something about the shouting that made the enemy upset. Jericho, they were, and the vibration of the shout rumbled the ground. The weapons ain't carnal.
Hallelujah.
And next thing you know, the walls. And then Joshua said, let's go. They ran in there and defeated the enemy. All they did was walked around 7 times and they shot. It's a weapon. That's what I'm trying to get y'all. The cry of Israel. No one else had this weapon that can touch heaven. No one. Remember what we just said? That the Father said, I am Yah, and there is what?
None else.
None other. Oh, y'all listening to me? That's a powerful weapon, but you got to learn how. You got to understand this. You know what? Let's go. Let's read some scriptures real quick. Daniel, go to 1 Samuel 7:7.
And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together in Mizpah,
Go to 7 and go to 7 and 5. Read.
and Samuel said, gather all Israel to...
Okay, Samuel, he like, come on, everybody gather together. Come on, read. I'm just giving an illustration. Y'all still turning to it? Y'all need more time? 1 Samuel 7 and 5. 1 Samuel 7 and 5. Everybody turn to it. Let's read together. Y'all read silently as he read aloud. I want y'all to see this. We're going to try to get through these scriptures. Give me about 20 more minutes and I'm going to let you go. We're going to end it and then we're going to eat. Because most of the message is over. All the rest of the message will be just illustrations. But the key point that I wanted to bring home to y'all has been given. What's so funny?
I love illustrations.
The what?
Your illustrations, I love them.
Which illustration?
All of them.
All of them, okay. Yeah. Y'all there? Come on, read. Tell them where you're reading from. Say it loud.
1 Samuel
1 Samuel
7 and 5.
75, come on.
And Samuel said,
And Samuel said, here's Samuel. He's the prophet. He said, gather. Come on, everybody. Come here. Everybody come together. All right, come on, read.
gather all Israel to
All
Mizpah,
y'all, come on, to Mizpah.
and I will pray for you
And I
unto
will
Yahweh.
pray to Yahweh. That's what prayer is. Prayer is a cry.
Hallelujah.
The effectual and fervent prayer of who?
Israel.
Righteous. See what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
When you're righteous, this is what, see, all the Father is doing. If you're going through something, all the Father is doing is perfecting you in righteousness. You call out to him, yeah. Y'all need to learn
Hallelujah.
the tactics of this warfare.
Yes, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
What about y'all on Facebook? Come on, read. Not Facebook, YouTube. Oh, read.
And they gathered together to Mizpah,
And they gathered together to Mizpah, what?
and drew water,
And drew water.
and poured it out
And
for
poured it out.
Yahweh,
Come on.
and fasted on that day.
They fasted. There you go. There's another one. They refrained from certain things. You see, you got to get yourself in position to cry out to the Father. Because once you cry, things will happen. We are coming to the time where the Father is about to consummate his kingdom. We have come to the 400-year mark. We have seen we witnessed the 70 plus weeks that the Father said 70 weeks are determined among your people. 400 years, 70 weeks, the Father prophecies have been fulfilled, and now he's training us through his ministers and through his representatives to teach the people and to learn how to cry to the Father. Are y'all listening to me? Read. Come on.
And said there,
And come on.
we have sinned against Yahweh.
We have sinned now. There's another one. Confession to the Father. We all have sinned.
Hallelujah.
All of us in here
Yes.
are some sinners. We all did some little dirt and huge dirt and a lot of dirt. We know we have, including me. That's one thing I couldn't stand when we in Christianity. You need to get on the altar. You need to get on the altar too. Man, why are you still here with me to tell me this? You ain't in the pulpit. The Father didn't commission you to preach. So why are you telling me this? You haven't heard the Father say, well done either.
Hallelujah.
So you need to get on there. Come on, let's get on it together.
Yes.
They used to
Yes.
say get on the altar. That means all of us had to get down and pray to the Father. Then they sit up like Mrs. and sister and brother, big time Christian, hard in the faith saint. Come on, go break through now. You break through.
Come on.
See what
now.
I'm saying? All had to get out.
Yes. Yes.
Even Samuel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they had the temple. They had the temple in Jerusalem, and what they had to do, they all came, and they had a place called the Holies of Holies. And on the high priest could only enter there one time. If the high priest went in there, and if he wasn't right, guess what happened?
No bell ring.
What is that?
Bell.
The Father said, put bells on the bottom of them.
Stop.
And while he walking around in there, clean, clean, you know he's all right. Tie a rope around him. And he in clean, 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 clean. In the Holies of Holies, performing the atonement of sin for the whole nation. Clean, 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 clean. Well, every once in a while you hear it clean, clean.
No more noise.
Shh. Uh-oh. Y'all hear anything? Nope. Oh, man. Pull them out. They couldn't go, they had to pull them out. Here you go, drag it out. Dead. That's how our Father is. He gave us this. Oh, y'all listening? And we shouldn't, understand who you are, understand your weapon. Oh, y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
So he in there, he gave atonement, and he offered up to the Father, and the whole nation will be atoned, and they'll be at one. Atoned, at one with the Father. That's what atone meant. At one with the Father. After that, we be all at one, and we be ready to proceed on.
Yes.
So they confess their sins to the Father. Come on, read.
And Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpah.
And he judged them. Come on, read.
And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together in Mizpah,
Okay, here come the enemy. Uh-oh. Here come the enemy. Look at the children of Israel is in Mizpah. We the Philistines. Would y'all remember Raging Harlem?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Forrest Whitaker kept calling them Philistines. And the dude got mad. I told you I wasn't for Philly, man. He took it and thought he was calling himself. I thought, you don't get it, do you? There was some kind of issue when you say you from Philly and you from New York. That was like an insult. I told you I ain't from Philly. That was a little joke that they put in there. Forrest Whitaker was calling them Philistines, he was just calling them wicked. But they didn't know the Bible that he was saying. He thought he was saying that they was from Philly. But the Philistines, they gathered together and they ready. Next time y'all look at that, when y'all see that, then you'll know what I'm saying. They gathered, the Philistines gathered together, and what else? Come on, read.
The lords of the Philistines went up against
The
Israel.
lords of the Philistines came up. And what happened?
And when the children of Israel heard it,
What did they do?
they were afraid of the Philistines.
They were afraid of the Philistines because the Philistines were powerful. They wicked. They'd tear your head off. They'd chop your head off, do all kinds of stuff. They were like, uh-oh, Philistines coming? Come on, read.
And the children of Israel said to Samuel,
The children of Israel said to Samuel,
cease not to cry unto Yahweh our Father for us, that he
look
will
at them. What did the children of Israel say to Samuel?
cease not to cry unto Yahweh our
The children of
Father.
Israel, they understood the cry to the Father, didn't they? They told Samuel, don't stop crying to the Father, man. The Philistines are coming. Come on, read.
That he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines.
I want him to save us from the hands of the Philistines. What happened?
And Samuel took a sucking lamb and,
Samuel took a certain lamb and did what?
and offered it up
Offered it up
for a burnt offering,
for a burnt offering. Come on.
holy unto Yahweh.
Holy unto the Father.
And
Come on.
Samuel cried unto Yahweh,
And he did what, everybody?
crying.
Right.
Y'all ain't saying it loud. What did he do? The cry of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Come on, read.
Unto Yahweh for Israel, and Yahweh heard him.
And what, y'all?
He heard
You
him.
heard him. You heard him.
He heard him.
If you cry to the Father after doing what he said do, he will hear.
Hallelujah.
Bottom line.
Yes.
Read on.
And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel.
And what happened?
But Yahweh thundered with a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines.
What did Yahweh do?
Thundered a great thunder on that day
The
upon
weapons of your warfare ain't carnal. Here come the Philistines with all their power and might, and the Father gave a loud clap of thunder. Some think it was hell, but it was a loud clap of thunder. How many of y'all really heard one of those loud claps of thunder?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Did it scare you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when you don't expect it. You don't expect it. You hear some rumbling in the background.
That crackle.
Then all of a sudden, what a whole house, boom! Here they running in the battle, then all of a sudden, Father was there.
Yes.
He disabled them with that loud clap of thunder. Not only that, he not only disabled them, but he set things up for a victory for the Israelites. Are you listening?
Hallelujah.
Come on, read. Let's finish that.
But Yahweh thundered a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines and discomfited them.
And discomforted them. And what?
And they were smitten before Israel.
You see what happened? Once that loud clap of thunder disabled them, they didn't know what to do. And they became vulnerable. And when they became vulnerable, the Israelites came in and was able to slay them. Make sure you stay out there with, because we at the hotel. We almost done, y'all. What I'm trying to tell y'all, hey, go to Jasher. Rashad, go to Jasher. You see, go Go to Exodus, Donnell. Exodus 2 and 23. Here we have another example. I told you, we just reading scriptures. And I want to give you an example of how effective it is when you live according to the standards of the Father. And when the situation becomes so overbearing, the power and the weaponry that you have is so powerful that it will back away, because the Father, he has now put this mission and this movement into full throttle. It has began to pick up speed, and now it's rolling. We rolling to the kingdom. It's almost time for the Valley of Jehoshaphat, y'all. Do y'all know what the Valley of Jehoshaphat is? That's when the Father will come and plead with his people. We are going there. I know it's hard to believe that because of everything that's going on, but trust me, brothers and sisters. But you got Exodus? No, you get Exodus. He got Jasher. Exodus.
I got Exodus.
He going to Jasher.
And it came to pass in the process of time,
And it came past the process of
the
time.
king of Egypt died.
The king of Egypt died, and what
And the
happened?
children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage.
You see that? See, the king of Israel, the king of Egypt died. This is like Egypt right now. When the children of Israel went into Egypt, they went in highly favored. They were living off the land. They were honored. Joseph saved the land. Are you listening? Joseph saved the land. And so there they were. Everybody was living a comfortable life in Egypt. So some of them got complacent. It ain't no different today. Many of us have gotten comfortable in this kingdom we call the United States. Even though we see Trump changing laws, even though the little children, even if it's a false flag, those false flags of the little children getting shot in the school. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
The little children getting shot in school, you know what they trying to do now? They gonna start giving guns to the teacher.
Somebody got.
And do you see what the teacher mad at somebody? The teacher easily can make up a case. It's getting ready to get terrible in these United States.
Yes.
Y'all got to get in alignment and learn how to cry, because the Father going to say, okay, I'm going to put situations so unfavorable. We're going to see who you're going to cry to. You understand what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
Come on, read. Y'all listen.
All right. And they cried, and their cry came up unto the Heavenly Father by reason of the bondage.
Read that again.
And it came to pass,
And it came to
in the
pass
process of
through
time,
the process of time,
that the king of Egypt died.
the king of Egypt died, and what
And the
happened?
children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage.
They was in bondage.
And they cried.
And they did what, everybody?
Cried.
The cry of Israel. Everybody say the cry of Israel.
of Israel.
They cried unto the Father. Come on, read.
And their cry came up unto the Heavenly Father by reason of the bondage.
They came unto the Heavenly Father by reason of bondage. And what
The
happened?
Father heard their groaning.
He heard it. When you cry, he will hear. He heard and what he do?
And y'all remembered his covenant with Abraham.
He remembered his covenant. So you got someone crying. You got the children of the Father. Let me tell you something. This is only reserved for the children of Israel. No other nation has the ability to cry to the Father as a nation, and he'll hear. I know people don't like that. Israel. Why do you think they keep giving us stuff to keep us from crying to him? Give us entertainment. Give us all kinds of trinkets, activities. They gave us people right now is on YouTube, surfing, trying to find something to excite them, trying to find something that is exciting. You see what I'm saying? Anything to keep you from learning How? See, there's a technique to crying to the Father. Did you hear what I said?
Hallelujah.
There's a technique to crying to the Father. You just can't cry to him just from a mindset of doing what you want to do. You have to, what do you have to do in order for your cry? Since that's one of the weapons we have. What must be done in order for this cry to be effective? Anybody?
Do what the Father tells you to do.
You say what?
Do what the
Have
Father
to be in
tells you to
alignment.
do.
Say it in the mic.
Do what the Father tells you to do.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
You have to be in alignment with the word. You have to be in alignment with the Father, with the word.
Be in alignment with the word. Do as he says. Be in alignment with the word. Anyone else?
Fast.
Yeah, you got the mic. Do what?
Fast.
Anyone else? Do as he says. Be in alignment. How many of us actually do what the Father say do?
Sometimes.
If you do everything that the Father say do, raise your hand. Uh-oh.
Damn it.
You see, it's one thing saying it. It's another thing doing it.
I know that's right. Right.
If you are straight up and down in alignment of his word, raise your hand.
Can't do that.
If you fast often, raise your hand. Don't fast. You fast.
Lying.
Definitely don't.
You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
If you fast often. See what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
So we got work to do.
Yes.
You see what Samuel had to do? He just didn't cry. He had to do something. If you don't do it, guess what? He'll put you in a situation where you have to do it. He'll put your nose to the ground and be, it doesn't you, please, Father, help. Father!
Yes.
Still got stuff, secrets and stuff that you don't want to put on before the Father.
Hallelujah.
Get rid of those secrets. Pour your heart out.
Yes.
Rip your chest open. What you say? What you say?
Hiya. Hiya.
Y'all listen while we're here. But then when we leave, y'all get right back in your own mind. Look, mother effer. Cousin. Got the weed. Ain't taking wine for your stomach's sake, drinking it for the pleasure of it. Then when calamity comes, Father! Do y'all hear these Negroes down there? Listen at them. Listen to them. Shut up. Apply the pressure a little bit more. Is this making any sense?
Hallelujah.
There are terms and conditions, C and T's, that's applicable to being effective of calling on the Father. You just can't call on him right now. We don't feel like we need to. You see what I'm saying? Let all hell break loose. Break loose. I told you I'm kind of country. Let all hell break loose. Then the right way to say it, when all hell breaks loose. Is that right? Is that the right way to Remember, when you cry, it can't be from this bastardized language. Have you ever seen somebody with a motor mouth? They just talk all the time. They get tired of them. I see her pointing at, I see her, I'm sorry. I see the person pointing at the person. Do y'all remember coming to America when he was at the club and that lady, I want to be an actor, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and they all. And you know what? And I want to produce my own movies. And will you shut up? Talk too darn much. Y'all thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? I was talking all the time. That's what we have to understand. It got to come from within, not from here. You see what I'm saying? Like a lion, like an elephant, like a giraffe, like a hyena. Now see, hyena? That's how some of us are. Nothing from here.
Hallelujah.
But a wolf. Oh, you remember Denzel in Training Day? Everything that the Father creates that's a significance, it comes from within. This is what you're going to have to learn how to do. But it's not the intelligent thing to do. So guess what? The Father's going to strip the kingdom down to where intelligence won't mean squatly dick. Then you see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
Y'all want me to quit? Y'all ready to go? Y'all want me to quit. Y'all.
Go on.
Huh? Y'all want me to go a few more minutes or not?
Yes.
All right, let me give a few more minutes, then I'm going to let y'all go. I know somebody here, they may want, I'm ready to go.
What you want with?
It's boring in here. I want to see, I want to go see Black Panther. I want to go see Black Panther to destroy the enemy. You better get this word so you can destroy your enemies. Y'all ain't clapping. Your enemies at the gate right now. You got to learn how to destroy them.
Yes.
The cry of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Let's see something. Rashad, let's read a little. Let's read something right here. Let's go to Jasher for the sake of time. Let's go to Jasher 54 and 28. Let's see what that says.
54 and 28.
And when Judah heard this thing, he was exceedingly wroth.
When Judah heard this thing, he was exceedingly wroth. You know what? This is the part of the story y'all never saw or never heard.
Right.
It's in the book of Jasher. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
This is when they came to Egypt, all the brothers, because they had to buy corn, because the whole land was under famine. It was a famine in the land, okay? They all came, and Joseph played with them to see if they really had repented.
Right.
Judah stepped up. Why do y'all think y'all getting ready to see where the line of Judah come from? Judah stepped up and said, why you playing, man? You know, y'all get the crux? I just condensed it so I can move on.
Hallelujah.
Read, y'all listen.
And his anger burned within him.
His anger burned within him. If you, those of you got electronic devices, you can go to Jasher. You can type Jasher 54. What verse you reading at?
28.
And go to 28, and you can read along on your electronic device. Jasher 54, 28. Y'all check this out. Come on, read.
And there was before him in that place a stone.
Look at this. There was a place of there was a stone. Judah got so mad at Joseph, his brother, Because this is what happened. They sold Joseph into Egypt, okay? Joseph was in Egypt. He interpreted dreams and he became the prime minister of Egypt, okay? There was a famine in the land. They didn't have no food, so they had the other 11 brothers had to go to Egypt to buy food. When Joseph saw them, he said, "You're spies." Because Jacob, their father, told them, "Don't all of you go in one gate," because Jacob still was crying over his son Joseph because he thought his son was dead.
Hallelujah.
But his son Joseph was now the prime minister, and he didn't even know. And so they came through different gates. And when they came through different gates, they told Joseph, "You got tribes that's coming through, these men coming through different gates." And Joseph said, "Close all the gates and let them come through one gate." And so Joseph accused them of being spies, even though Joseph knew they weren't spies, they were his brothers. But he was testing their faith. And this stuff went back and forth. Joseph said, "You spies." So, and then the brother said, "No, we're not spies. We got a father back home." Then he said, "Well, leave one of your brothers, go back home and come back to prove that you're telling the truth." They went back home, they left their brothers, they came back, and now he getting ready to take his younger brother, Benjamin. I'm just telling the story. Y'all know the story, right? He took his younger brother, Benjamin, and then Judah said, "No, we can't do this." Judah didn't recognize his brother Joseph was the prime minister. He was talking to his younger brother that he sold many years earlier. And he looking at him and he said, "No, we're not going to allow you to take our younger brother. We did that many years ago, and our father almost died because we sold our younger brother." Okay?
Hallelujah.
Read. Y'all listen.
The weight of which was about 400 shekels.
Now Judah got so mad, he saw this big stone. Oh, y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
He saw this big stone. Y'all don't know who you are. You don't know the power that we possess in the Father. This is why I say be strong in the Father and the power of who?
His might.
His might. Read on. He took a stone and what? Read.
In the place of a stone, the weight which was about 400 shekels.
And what happened?
And Judah anger was kindled, and he took the stone in one hand.
He took a stone, 400 shekels, a heavy stone. He took it in one hand, and what did he do?
And cast it to the heavens and caught it with his left hand.
He cast it up to the heavens, cast it up in the air, a big old stone, and what did he do?
Caught it with his left hand.
Caught the stone with his left hand, then what did he do?
And he placed it afterward under his legs.
Placed it on his leg and what?
And he sat upon it with all his strength.
And then what did he do?
And the stone was turned into dust from the force of Judah.
Judah was showing the Egyptians, we getting ready to fight. What happened?
And Joseph saw the act of Judah, and
Joseph, the prime minister, he saw the act. And what happened?
and he was very much afraid.
Oh, man. Read.
But he commanded Manasseh, his son.
Joseph had a son named Manasseh. Ephraim and Manasseh. And Joseph said, "Manasseh, come here." Manasseh, come up. Do like Daniel and Rashad used to do. They were half-stepping the day. But they usually be right on point. Rashad done that. Manasseh came up. And what happened?
And he also did with another stone.
So Manasseh took the stone and did the same thing. This stuff going on in the Egyptian palace. They are the same family. But they didn't know Joseph was part of the family. But Judah like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. Because they knew they were of the Father. This is to show you who we are of.
Hallelujah.
Read.
Like unto the act of Judah.
Read on.
And Judah said unto his brethren,
He looked at his brother and what did he say?
Let not any of you say,
Don't let any of you say,
this man is an Egyptian.
this man ain't no Egyptian,
So
y'all.
by his doing this thing,
By him doing this,
he is of our father's family.
he is from our family tree somewhere.
Yeah.
Because nobody should be able to do this. This is power that the Father put in us.
Yes.
That knows they got us. Woo! Almost got a Charlie horse in my leg doing that mess. Yeah, man, get that Charlie horse out. See what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
They want you to continue to do that. So you can't understand who you really are.
Yes.
There's something in us. Read on. Come on, let's read.
And Joseph said,
And Joseph said,
not to you only in strength is given.
you ain't the only one that got strength. That's what Joseph said. Because Joseph knew he was of the family.
Hallelujah.
But Joseph playing with Judah.
Yes.
See, Joseph was young. He was a prime minister. He was in his 30s. That's what young people do. Rashad did a play. And he was the rich man. And he said, bring me some wine. And they brought him some, and the servant brought him some wine. We did it right here. And he took the wine, drank a little bit, and threw it in his face. Get on. Because he had the power to do it. You don't remember doing that? We did a little play, and that's what he did. Joseph was young. You ain't the only one that can do that. Come on. See, this bring it down to perspective. Sometimes we deify these people and think they're way above there. But no, they had a connection with the Father. This is why Yahshua say, through the Father, all things are what? Possible. Come on, read.
For we are also powerful men.
We are powerful men. Come on.
And why will you boast over us all?
Why are you going to boast over us? Come on.
And Judah said unto Joseph,
What did Judah say?
send, I pray thee, our brother,
Give me my brother back, man.
and,
Come on.
and ruin not thy country this day.
Don't mess up your country messing around with us. In other words, Judah said, man, you got me messed up. I know the word. You got it twisted, partner. If you want Egypt, see, when we look at the Tinkerbell, we didn't look at a few pure people. That's when we kept disobeying the Father. But this is when they were high and mighty. And he like, man, you do not want Egypt to be in ruins. Because we'll tear this bad boy to the ground. Read.
And Joseph answered and said unto them,
Joseph answered and said what?
go and tell your father. An
Go
evil-
tell your father.
An evil beast has devoured him as
See, that's what they said about him. They sold him and told the father, an evil beast had killed Joseph. So Joseph returned to them. Go tell your father an evil beast has devoured. Come on.
as you said concerning your brother Joseph.
As you said concerning your brother Joseph. It seemed like they should have caught the hint. Wait a minute. I ain't know all this stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, read.
And Judah spoke to his brother Naphtali.
And Judah spoke to his brother in what?
Naphtali. He said,
Naphtali.
Naphtali.
And what did he tell Naphtali?
He said unto him, make haste.
Let me tell you something.
Make haste.
Let me tell you something. Naphtali, see, the Father gave us clues. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
He has given us clues all in the earth. Look at Usain Bolt. Don't y'all remember Usain Bolt at the Olympics?
Hallelujah.
He running and then, yeah, because his last name Bolt. He running and he beat everybody. He don't be running hard. He just be turning around smiling. Say nothing new.
Right.
Usain Bolt was probably of the seed of Naphtali.
Hallelujah.
Because Judah said to Naphtali, what did he say to Naphtali?
He said unto him, make haste.
Make haste.
Go now and number all the streets of Egypt.
Number all the streets of Egypt.
And come.
You see that? I didn't get that part of the story. They getting ready to get a count. They getting ready to go to war. Judah said, number the streets of Egypt, Naphtali. And what did Naphtali do?
and come and tell me.
And come and bring that word back to me. Read.
And Simeon said unto him,
And Simeon said unto him what?
let not this thing be a trouble to thee.
Don't let it be trouble to you. Come on.
Now I will go to the mount and take up one large stone
I will go up to the mountain and take up a large stone and do what?
from the mount and level it.
All these are brothers. All these are the tribes of Israel.
Yes.
Here's Simeon. I go take a stone up. They mad now. They ready to fight. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Look at that and look at what they doing now. I ain't no dude. I want that Charlie horse to come down. The chicken wing. Who are those brothers? 3 of them. On YouTube. Got all the different shouts with the name on it. You ain't never seen them? They got some, and then they got these other brothers with their coward shoes on. You know those church shoes, zoot suits. Then reduced us down to clowns, straight up circus clowns.
Yes.
Enough of them. That means all of them. I just went down to Jamaica on y'all. Enough of them are circus clowns. Sit down somewhere. It was cool back then, but the father winked at it back then. He ain't winking at that mess now.
Yes.
Read.
And level it at everyone in Egypt,
Everyone in Egypt, come on.
and kill all that are in it.
Whoa, my goodness. Come on, read.
And Joseph heard all these words.
And Joseph heard it. What did Joseph say?
His brethren spoke before him.
And what happened?
They did not know that Joseph understood them.
See, he didn't know. Joseph, he was speaking Egypt, and they, and what happened?
For they imagined that he knew not to speak Hebrew.
Come on, what happened?
And Joseph was greatly afraid.
Joseph was really afraid then. You got Naphtali running, because Naphtali was fast. The scriptures say Naphtali's feet was like a deer. He would run through the corn stalk and not hardly touch one of them. He ran through the streets of Egypt, then he come back. Flash Gordon. That's what he got it from. 5 and 6 men behind Flash as he runs. Then when he stops, they all catch up with him. Had wings on his feet. What the wings for? Come on, read.
Was greatly afraid at the words of his brethren.
And what happened?
Would destroy Egypt.
Come on.
And he commanded his son Manasseh,
He commanded his son Manasseh what?
saying, go, now make haste.
Make haste. Come on.
And gather unto me all the inhabitants of Egypt,
Gather all the inhabitants of Egypt. What happened?
and all the valiant men together,
All the valiant men together. What? Come on, read.
and let them come to me now
And let them come to me now and do what?
upon horseback,
Upon horseback
and on foot,
and on foot.
and with all sorts of
Look
musical
at Joseph got all the Egyptians to come in the palace because it's getting ready to be on like popcorn. Come on, let's do it.
and all sorts of musical instruments.
Be getting ready to be popping like hot grease, baby. What else? Come on.
And Manasseh went and did so.
And then Manasseh did so, and what happened?
And Naphtali went as Judah had commanded him.
Naphtali did as Judah commanded him. Then what?
For Naphtali was light-footed, as one of the
You see? Naphtali was light on his feet. And what? Come on.
as one of the swift stags.
A stag is like a deer. Naphtali running through Egypt. This is us.
Hallelujah.
And look at us today. Over little issues.
Slumped.
See the feet? Let YouTube see it. I ain't never telling we going back to that, y'all.
Hallelujah.
Come on, read.
And he would go upon the ears of corn,
Come on.
and they would not break under him.
Look at that. Come on, read.
And he went and numbered all the streets of Egypt,
He numbered all the streets of Egypt and what?
and found them to be 12.
And found them to be what, y'all?
12.
See, the preacher today didn't understand 12 in that magnitude. You need to embrace this Hebraic walk to teach this word like it need to be taught. You see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah.
Come on, read.
And he came hastily and told Judah.
And what?
And Judah said unto his brethren,
Judah said to his brother, what?
hasten you and put on every man his sword.
Everybody get ready. We getting ready to save our brother. We sold the last one, we ain't no do it. But what was Joseph doing? He was testing to see how they changed their heart. And they were ready to fight for their brother this time. They had repented of selling their brother, and Joseph sitting there just playing along with it. Come on, read.
Put on every man his sword.
Put on every man his sword, and what?
And we will come over Egypt
And we will come over
and
Egypt
smite them all.
and kill them all. Come
And
on.
let not a remnant remain.
And let not one soul remain. Read.
And Judah said,
And Judah said,
behold, I will destroy 3 of the streets with my strength.
I will destroy, how many?
3.
With my strength, come on.
And you shall each destroy 1 street.
And you, all of y'all should destroy one street, come on.
And when Judah was speaking in this thing, behold, the inhabitants of Egypt and all the mighty men came toward them,
And what happened?
all sorts of musical instruments.
They
And
trying to quail it. Egyptians come playing music. Because of Judah. You know, it's always got to be somebody to lead the band. That's what he doing. Judah. Come on, read.
and with loud shouting,
And we read.
and their number was 500 cavalry,
It was 500 cavalry. Come on, read.
10,000.
I'm trying to finish, y'all. Come on.
and 10,000 infantry,
And 10,000 infantry. Come on.
and 400 men who could fight
And
without,
400 men who can fight in battle. Come on.
without sword or spear,
Without sword and spear. Come
only
on.
with their hands and strength.
Read on.
And all mighty men came with great storming and shouting.
And they came storming and shouting. Come on,
And they
read.
all surrounded the sons of Jacob and terrified them.
And what happened?
And the ground quaked at the sound of their shouting.
They did what?
Quaked at the sound of their shouting.
Y'all hear that?
Hallelujah.
The cry of Israel. Is this message clear?
Hallelujah.
Come on, finish that, and I'm getting ready to let y'all go.
And when the sons of Jacob saw these troops, they were greatly afraid of their lives.
And what happened?
And Joseph did so in order to terrify the sons of Jacob to
Yeah,
become
Joseph
tranquilized.
taught them how to cry, but it wasn't good enough. Let's read on. Read.
And Judah, seeing some of his brethren terrified,
Judah looked around and saw them terrified. What'd he say?
said unto them, why are you afraid, whilst the grace of Yahweh is with us?
He said, why y'all afraid? Why y'all looking down? What's up with all this?
Hallelujah.
This is the true meaning when we say tribe of Judah. Now y'all know.
Hallelujah.
We ain't just saying the tribe of Judah. Hey, we got backing. Come on, read.
And when Judah saw all the people of Egypt surrounding them
When he saw all the people surrounding him, what'd he do?
at the command of Joseph to terrify them,
What?
only Joseph commanded them, saying, do not touch any
Don't
of
touch
them.
them now. Those my brothers. He didn't tell them that. He just said, don't touch them. Come on, read.
Then Judah hastened and drew his sword,
Judah took his sword out. What did Judah do?
and uttered a loud and bitter scream.
Y'all thought the Hulk was something. He took it and uttered loud. And what happened?
And he smote with his sword.
And he spoke with his sword. And what?
And he sprang upon the ground, and he still continued to shout against all the
He
people.
did what?
And he sprang upon the ground,
He jumped. Read on.
and when he did this thing, the Father caused the terror of Judah.
Who did?
Yahweh,
Yahweh got in that screen and it began being treacherous. Everybody, what is that? Come on, read.
and his brethren to fall upon the valiant men and all the people that surrounded them.
Read on.
And they all fled at the sound of the shouting.
They started running. Read.
And They were terrified and fell one upon the other.
They start running to each other. Looking like the Three Stooges up in there. Egypt. You got all these Egyptologists talking about how great Egypt is. Look at that. They running into each other. You seen an old cartoon, you try to get away, both of y'all running to face, body to body. And Judah steady hollering. Come on, read.
And many of them died as they fell.
They died as they fell. They ran into each other so hard.
Wow.
Come on, read.
And they all fled from before Judah
Read on.
and his brethren.
And his brethren,
and
read.
from before Joseph.
Read.
And whilst they were fleeing, and Judah and his brethren pursued them unto the house of Pharaoh.
Read.
And they all escaped. And Judah again sat before Joseph and roared at him like a lion.
Read on.
And gave a great and tremendous shriek at him.
Gave a great and tremendous. Oh, y'all listening? Keep listening. We almost ready to finish. Come on, read.
And the shriek was heard at a distance.
The shriek was heard at a distance. Be all right. Come on.
And all the inhabitants Succoth heard it.
Read.
And all Egypt quaked at the sound of the shriek.
The Egypt, all of Egypt did what, y'all?
Wait.
Started like an earthquake. Read.
And also the walls of Egypt.
The walls of Egypt. What else?
And of the land of Goshen.
And the land of Goshen. What else?
Fell in from the shaking of the earth.
Fell in from the shaking of the earth. Judah steady hollering. Ah! The cry of Israel. Come on, read.
And Pharaoh also fell from his throne upon the ground.
Pharaoh on the throne. He fell. What's going on? What is all that noise? It wasn't Judah. The father got involved. You see what I'm saying? Y'all just don't know. I cry to the Father what it can do.
Hallelujah.
Read.
And also all the pregnant women of Egypt and Goshen miscarried.
The pregnant women did what?
Pregnant women of Egypt and Goshen miscarried
The pregnant women had miscarriages.
Wow.
when they heard the noise of the shaking.
Read on.
For they were terribly afraid.
For they were terribly afraid. I'm going to stop there. Y'all can read the rest. It was so bad that Pharaoh went to Joseph and said, Joseph, let these people go, man. We can't fight against this. The cry. we allow this once. But the correction coming again the next time. We must understand what the Father has given us. Trust in Him. Are y'all listening to me?
Hallelujah.
Trust Him. He got us. When we cry, just like the walls of Jericho, if you believe the walls of Jericho, it happened way before the walls of Jericho. This was early in the time. Judah hollered. That's why they say the Lion of Judah. The Father hears whenever you in alignment with Him. And as we begin to see things shift, the Father is going to allow us to get to the point to where we can do nothing but cry to Him. So start arranging your life right now. So when that time comes, you too will shake the ground. It ain't us. It's all about Him.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.